Thanks for joining us. I'm Nancy Furness, and this is We've Got Issues. We're filming today at Coquitlam City Centre Library, and we would like to thank the library for providing us a space to carry out our interviews. And before we get started, I'd also like to acknowledge that our interviews do take place on the traditional, ancestral, and unceded lands of Coquitlam First Nation. So we thank the Coquitlam people who continue to live on the lands and to care for the lands and the waters and all that lie above and below. I'm joined today by Jessi Fowles of Tri-Cities Pride Society. So thank you so much for joining us today, Jessi.
Thanks for having us. It's great to talk to you.
Can you tell us, for people who maybe haven't heard about Tri-Cities Pride Society, who are you and what inspired you to start?
Of course, so Tri-Cities Pride Society is the local pride organization for the Tri-Cities, being Belcara, Anmore, Port Moody, Port Coquitlam, and Coquitlam. Together, we're a completely volunteer board. We all donate our time to work on the organization together. And originally, the society was founded in 2017 because queer people exist in our communities, and there were not enough, and still are not enough, spaces for people to live their true and authentic lives. And it's our job to come in and try and make that possible.
Okay, so that's great, and it's nice to have that come out to the Tri-Cities. I think some folks are maybe familiar with Vancouver's Pride Society and the work that they do there. How does that differ from what we do here in the Tri-Cities? I know it's a little bit, we have a little bit different demographic and different situations. So can you just maybe tell us a little bit about how it differs from Vancouver's work?
Absolutely. So Vancouver is definitely a larger city and a larger organization. They have lots of funding and backers and have worked really hard to create the weekend-long festival that people know as Vancouver Pride. However, there are so many small cities around Vancouver, and each and every one of us have our own geographic and community-based issues that we need to solve. And so alongside a lot of our other sister organizations like New West Pride, Maple Ridge Pride, Chilliwack Pride, everyone works together to both create a network that we can all benefit from, but we're also making sure that our individual communities are being looked after.
So everybody has their individual society, plus you work together as a collaborative organization in some instances?
Where we can, if there are issues that arise or we notice trends online or problems that are popping up in different communities, by sharing that knowledge with one another, we can help protect both the other organizations as a team, but also think about what happens when those issues come to our own homes.
Right, and sometimes it gives you a stronger voice if you have sort of a collaboration or an alliance of groups working together as well.
There's also a queer chamber in BC. We're a nonprofit, but for other businesses and entrepreneurs who identify as Two-Spirit LGBTQIA, there are other opportunities for businesses as well.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
So that's good to know. Can you talk a little bit more about some of the other ways that you support the queer community and what some of those resources are out there?
Absolutely. So what we do is a mix of advocacy, community building through programming and events, and then celebrating queer joy are the main components of what our organization focuses on. So for us, that includes advocacy at city halls, it includes counter protests occasionally, it includes working through accessibility needs and inclusion at our different events. It means making sure we keep connections with our local First Nations, including Coquitlam. And it also means that we produce printed guides. We have what we call our annual Pride Guide resource, which is filled with information about our summer festival, but also includes essays from the community and resources for both youth and adults.
Sounds pretty inclusive.
That's the goal. Yeah, we want everyone to feel included. It is, of course, meant for queer and LGBTQ presenting people in our community.
Right.
But the point is that, queer kids and their allies and family members and people in the community can get to know more about what being LGBTQ means and how they can support their own loved ones as well.
That's nice because, I think sometimes I'm hoping it's changed a little bit now, but I know it can be isolating and some stigma attached in the past. So have you seen any movement? Are we moving past that now with organizations like Tri-Cities Pride? There's, it opens up a whole new vista kind of being inclusive and part of the community. So hopefully we're moving past that.
I think so. In my time as president, I've had numerous people come up at different events or meetings and say, they wish that they had an organization like this, or they wish that our youth committee had existed when they were going to school here in the community. And that they can see already by being at a few events, the fact that it exists when it didn't before is a step. And I mean, every year our Pride festivals have been almost doubling, and it's been really exciting. So, I mean, in that sense, there are obvious indicators that it is more comfortable and a bit safer to be queer, but especially with rhetoric that's coming out of the States and all of the discontent we're seeing across the global West, it can also be a scary thing to be.
It can be for sure, and I think recognizing it and having some place where you are safe to be heard and seen is really powerful. Can you give us maybe an example of a time when the Tri-Cities Pride Society really had an impact on an individual or a small group of folks?
I'd like to say that last year we hosted our very first youth-specific Pride Festival. We held a Port Moody Youth Pride at Pomo Arts Center. Pomo Arts has been an unbelievable ally and a cultural partner for us. And they also host a True Colors exhibition, which also shows work, visual arts work from queer youth in the community. So it fit really nicely. We ended up having a youth performer at the event as well. So it was really all very arts-based and an opportunity for young people specifically to come together. We found when talking to our youth committee, when they first approached Coquitlam about holding a Pride festival in the city so that they didn't have to go to another city. The big issue was that a lot of Pride festivals are geared towards adults and have things like beer gardens or drinking available. And because for us specifically as an organization, the youth committee is centralized and they actually produce their own events. We support that work. And so I think alone in the way that we center youth and how we've seen those young people build up their own communities and do work in their own schools because they feel confident from what we've been producing or helping them produce, I think is the biggest change or the biggest thing that I'm proud of as president.
Well, and well said. I think we were just speaking with the mayor of Port Moody, and she was saying this morning how important it is to have the youth voice and to have youth included in everything that they do in Port Moody. So now it sounds like you're just saying the same thing, that it's a very inclusive community, and it's nice to hear. And so you hold some events, and you also have resources that you try and share out. You do advocacy as well. Can you talk a little bit about what are the most pressing issues that you see today? I know there's probably more than one, but
yeah, I think there are lots of ways I could answer this question, but focused on our organization, the idea of, or the concept of queer joy, celebrating queer life in an exciting and positive way, is a big pillar of our organization, a clear value to us.
Okay.
But especially today, in a modern age and with social media, I would often say that being queer joy has actually become an act of resistance in itself. It takes a lot of strength and resilience to live a life that's authentic to you. And it's no secret that the rise of right-wing rhetoric and ideology in the global West and here in North America has made existing alone sometimes scary for members of our community, even in a time where there's more queer media and online information than we've ever had before. So of course this regressive language and fear and othering are all symptoms of this misleading narrative. And I would say that the outside kind of stimuli and sources that we receive this information from aren't always homegrown, but that doesn't mean they can't be. And so again, being present and being able to kind of be the front line for our community and let people know that you deserve joy and you deserve to celebrate a life that is worth living is an act of faith and resistance in a lot of ways, and I think is the most important thing that we are doing right now.
And I think it's incredibly important and powerful because we do see a lot of divisiveness across many different lines, and this is just one more form of divisiveness that, you know, can bring a lot of agony to people if they don't have that safe space and that support. Can you maybe share with us a little bit about, you were talking about collaborating with City of Port Moody and Coquitlam.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit more about some of the collaborative or joint efforts you have with the cities, maybe some interactions with City Council and things like that?
Yeah, I'd love to. So I would say in general, we have the closest relationship with the City of Coquitlam because we host our big Coquitlam Pride Festival. That's kind of the cornerstone of all the activities we do around our festival.
Celebration.
Yes, so that is held, right now it's being held at Evergreen Cultural Center and the Town Center Park Community Center in July. We have it scheduled for July 4th, 2026 this year.
Okay, something to look forward to.
Yes, we just found out that we were confirmed for our grant funding through the Spirit of Coquitlam grant with the City of Coquitlam. We're also waiting on some other grant funding as well, but the city has really become a strong funding partner for us ever since we first held our first Pride about 3 years ago now.
That's wonderful to hear.
Yes, and we're very lucky, sorry to cut you off.
No, you go ahead.
We're very lucky that we have those city councilors, Matt DeJolnik, Nancy from Pomo, Jody Wickens, Jennifer Blatherwick. They come to our events, they want to be seen with us, they celebrate with us. That is a relationship that we are very, very proud to have. And those cultural partners like Evergreen Cultural Center and Pomo Arts, Coquitlam Heritage, and of course the Coquitlam Public Library as well have all been huge supporters of us. The city has also been really helpful with our youth-specific events. They've offered us space at Poirier Youth Center. We just held a Queer Valentine's event this year that had, I believe, 40 attendees.
Wow, that's awesome.
It was really great. So, and that's an event that has grown from last year as well, thanks to the support from our partners.
That's wonderful to hear. And, you know, just going back, circling back a little bit to the July 4th event, can you tell us a little bit about what might be happening there? I know you may not have all the details, but just give us an overview of what we can expect to see.
Yes, so last year we increased the size of our vendor market to allow for more Two-Spirit LGBTQIA vendors and entrepreneurs and social groups and organizations to come. We've had members like Cutting Edge Hockey, Hymn Clinic, we've had individual businesses, it's been really great to be able to offer table space for people to connect with members of their community or offer services for our community. Last year we also had a quiet zone, so like a sensory kind of like
it can all be a little bit overwhelming sometimes.
We had so many people show up last year. We often have 4 or 5 performers outside. We had a speaker panel. We have dance workshops. We've had like drag makeup workshops. We've had story times with artists and youth as well. So it really is like a 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. festival. It is packed with fun activities and queer joy, queer resilience,
Well,
which really is the theme for us. It is the one thing that we are trying to really build in our community.
And it sounds like it's an event not to miss. So it's an
really
action-packed,
cool.
fun-filled, inclusive day. So we'll look forward to that coming up in the summer.
Yes.
So we've talked a little bit about collaborating with City Council and the cities. What about families and, you know, even businesses? How can families and other folks in the community be allies or support the queer community?
The number one thing for us is our membership. So as a nonprofit, we do have a sliding scale membership, so that people can join in at our annual general meeting or any special meetings that we host. They'd be able to vote on matters that are important to them, vote in on new board members who are joining the community.
And this is anybody can join?
Anyone, including businesses, can join their business as a member of our society.
Do you have businesses that have joined?
We do have a couple of businesses, yes. And in terms of businesses, we do have a couple of businesses we've worked with, Bevies, beverages, and right now we're actually hosting a monthly Queers and Beers event. It's free to attend, and we're hosting that at Parkside Brewery. This summer when they do their annual Pride fundraising event as well. They've picked Tri-Cities Pride Society to be their nonprofit of choice this year too. So we are so lucky that they offer us their kind of side space, and it just gives us a clean and quiet environment for us to have a drink or a non-alcoholic drink, play a couple of board games or hang out and talk, and that's been a really nice opportunity too.
You know, it sounds like there's so many opportunities to get involved and to be part of the community, and you have a busy schedule there with lots of things on the go. How do you make sure that the voices are heard from your community? Like, you know, how do you bring those voices together and make sure that they're heard both at the community level and maybe even higher levels? Because you were mentioning that you have provincial representation with MLA Jody Wickens and MLA Jennifer Blatherwick attending your events. So how do you make sure your voice is heard?
Jennifer, I have to immediately say, is an amazing ally to our community, especially in the wake of we've had some conversations with Jennifer recently with lots of the news that's happened with the shooting in Tumbler Bridge.
It was very sad, tragic.
And just making sure that and she's reached out to many communities to make sure that we feel supported and that we understand what the risks and security risks of being a public organization are during this time.
Well, in a very divisive atmosphere, and
again, that divisive rhetoric, right, that really is built for separation and isolation, and that is what we are trying to break through. Actually, we have a couple of main ways that we include our community. One thing that I've done as president is decentralize the way that our nonprofit structure is. So we've included several committees, including a social justice committee, a governance committee, a social media and communications committee, an event planning committee.
Wow.
Yes, I think we have 6 or 7 committees all together now. And the point of that is that the board can vote on things that cost money and need things, but members and other parts of our community can be part of volunteer time, like our board volunteers their time, to be part of these committees and share their ideas so that we're actively hearing from our community members right away.
And everybody brings something to the table, and everybody brings something different. So this is an opportunity for anybody who wants to get involved to kind of, go with their own strength.
Our board meetings are also open, so if we have any members of the community or businesses who want to connect specifically with our board, they're welcome to meet with us or contact us however they prefer and meet with us at our board meetings. Recently, we actually had a member from PLE come by. They're starting an amazing trans and gender affirming support group in New West. It's and they're just coming out more to the Tri-Cities as well. And they have a group that's for youth and also a group for parents. So that really helps families at every level understand some of those challenges and have other people to speak to. And as well, I think most importantly, because youth are so important to us and what we do as an organization, making this community safe and accessible for our youth, we have a youth committee run from 14 to 18-year-olds, and they come in and they get to host Port Moody Youth Pride. They tell us who they'd like to perform.
Wow.
They tell us what they'd like to see. They host the Queer Valentine's event. We did a queer prom last year. And our goal is really to help these amazing young people do the work they see they need in their community. And I think with all of those different elements, it allows for a lot of individuals and businesses to connect with us, and for us to make sure that we're not also siloed in our own community, that we have new voices coming in all the time.
Interesting. There's a lot of work and thought goes into this, and there's some really good things happening there. Can you give us just a few words on what your vision for the future is? What would you like to see happen, both with the Tri-Cities Pride Society as well as within the queer community of the Tri-Cities? What would you like to see happen in the future?
Yeah. What I would personally like to see is one thing we've been working really hard on behind the scenes is we've applied for our charitable status this year.
Okay.
So if we can become a charity and a nonprofit, it'll really open up our funding opportunities. We'd love to be able to one day provide a bursary or a scholarship for queer youth to help support the work they're doing and continue that education if they're interested in it. And hopefully soon, we'd like to make sure we're doubling every year like we have been with Pride.
Wow.
Continue to have these big festivals, and even from our first Pride, which was largely run by our cultural partners, Evergreen Cultural Center and Place des Arts in the city of Coquitlam, now that we have more control and say in what we're doing, already the ideas of how big can we get are starting to appear. And I would love to see a festival that actually moves from the Town Center Park side to the amphitheater side of Town Center Park, just like Dumpling Festival and some of the summer concert nights. We have some amazing talent, and I think if we continue the way that we are, we'll be able to have even larger festivals just to really show all of the beauty that there is in this community. And as this is my last year as president, I hope that a lot of the strategic planning and decentralization that we've done will just help make it feel like it really is a community organization that is by and for the community.
You know, it's wonderful work, and you know, if people wanted to get involved, now you're growing, so how would people get involved? Who would they contact?
The easiest thing to do, you can find us on social media, Tri-Cities Pride BC. We have a website that includes lists of resources and all our festival information as it pops up, including all our free monthly programs. You can always pop into a free event or a program, come hang out with us and let us know what you're interested in. Or you can reach us at info@tricitiespride.ca. We'd be happy to hear from everybody who's interested in helping us build queer joy in the community.
Thank you so much, Jessi, and I know that your time is coming to a close as president, and we're sorry to see you go, and you know, grateful for all the good work that you've done in the community, and I hope that we can stay in touch, and maybe we'll see you on July 4th.
Absolutely. I may not be president, but that's a party I'm not going to miss. So
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
thank you for having me. It's awesome to be here.
Thanks for joining us. This is We've Got Issues, and we've been speaking with Jessi Fowles from the Tri-Cities Pride Society.